Delivered my friend his last meal. For backstory, I 20 male am a delivery driver for 2 major food delivery companies and have been doing so for a bit over a year. With COVID happening and me just getting my license, it was a perfect gig as everyone was ordering from home and I could work on my own time, being my own boss. One of my friends, I'll call him Justin 22 male, knew I worked for them and occasionally we'd try to match orders, where he'd place an order to a restaurant and I'd wait to see if I could get his order request so I could pick it up and bring it to him. He always left a good tip and most of the time surprisingly the orders did come to me, which was great. I mean, a good paying order and getting to see a close friend. It doesn't get much better than that. Justin was your typical adrenaline junkie, owning 3 motorcycles of different styles and a sedan that he transformed from a mom car to one that could outrun many sports cars. But he was always respectful of those who weren't into that. Never weaves in traffic, only did pulls when he was the only vehicle around, and never got angry when others weren't so kind on the roads, always wearing a smile and mix that with his long blonde hair. He was a ray of sunshine. 4 days ago was no different. He sent a text asking if I'd try and get his order. Of course I said I would. And with our good success rate I got his order. He bought way more food than he normally does. Something like what you'd hear John Wayne Gacy order for his last meal. I'm talking surf and turf steak and lobster, loaded fries, chicken wings, a large lemonade and a chocolate shake. Definitely gonna have some leftovers out of that. So I pick up the order and head on to his house. He's outside working on his new toy, a Yamaha R1, still stock and never used. He was putting on a new exhaust because he always admired that beefy growl from a new exhaust. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't love it as well. I pull up to the curb, hand him the ginormous bag of cholesterol, and we talk about the bike, life, and anything under the sun. Then had a big bro hug and I went back to working. About 9 p.m. I head home, taking my usual long route home to take time unwinding, listening to music and enjoying the night on roads sparsely ridden on. I got into a highway that leads almost to my neighborhood, just a straight shot, and I see loads of bright lights ahead. They had to be 2 to 3 miles away, but there were so many they illuminated the low clouds above, blue, red, white, all emergency vehicles. I approached with a little bit of traffic accumulated moving past pretty slowly, being nosy like everyone else trying to see what happened. At first I just saw a white sedan with its hood almost split in half, and assumed they had hit one of the streetlights, but there wasn't any streetlight damage anywhere. I jokingly said to myself, I hope Justin wasn't involved, knowing he never came down this road for anything. But that quickly became my fear being recognized. Blue bits of plastic were strewn on the pavement like glass, the same color as Justin's new bike, and then one of his shoes in a field off the road. My mind didn't try to make excuses in thinking it was someone else because it knew. I just knew. I never saw the wreckage of the bike, but seeing the front end of the sedan all but confirmed Justin wasn't alive. And I was right. I screamed in that car in the most guttural yell I've ever produced. Apparently loud enough the firefighters standing around heard it and looked at me like I was some zombie. My friend was gone and I knew it. I had to pull over practically blind from tears blocking my vision and my head shaking violently. A cop walked up asking who I was, and I explained to him in maybe 2 sentences worth of words spread out over 2 minutes of sobs and gasps. He explained what they believe happened, but I didn't hear a word from him. Everything he said shot right out the other ear. The only sound was ringing. I later found out that he was in fact alone on that side of the highway, doing a pull at what they assume was 120 plus miles per hour, and the sedan, with no headlights or any lights on, made an illegal left turn to get into a neighborhood, which made him drive going the wrong way for a couple yards. Justin couldn't react and the impact practically made the bike explode, and the sedan looked like a semi had hit it. The sedan driver was in critical condition but is expected to survive, somehow, and the impact took away Justin immediately. They don't even think his brain could have processed everything going on before the collision. His gear was almost shredded but it was the only thing keeping him together. I'm not sure what to make of life now. I drove by that spot yesterday and the bent street signs, shredded grass, and tire marks left behind a memory I want to forget. And people drove past it like a normal day, because to them, it was. His phone was destroyed but they're trying to get into the chips or whatever to get the information from it. But as far as my friends and I know, I was the last person to talk to him. At least face to face. I like to believe that God or whatever is out there gave us that chance to say goodbye. The last words we shared were the usual I love you brother and a tight hug because we always knew life wasn't certain. And only an hour and a half later I would never be able to hug him again or let him know that the brotherly love was as real gets. I've tried talking to him the last few days while I'm alone and maybe I'll get a sign one of these days to let me know he's okay. I'm not sure why I'm sharing this. Maybe it's a need to release and vent. Maybe it can be educational, or maybe just to occupy my mind for a few minutes typing it out. I don't know. But if anything can be learned from my friend, it's to enjoy life in every moment, whether it's good or bad, because in life there is everything you've ever known, your dreams, aspirations, goals, friends, family, everything we know is here. Don't let that go to waste. Always hug your homies. Always let those you love know that you love them. And don't ever say goodbye to someone until you both feel the love reciprocated. You never, and I mean never, know when your or someone else's time to leave is. I love you brother.